Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. I'm Gamey Daddy with the Gamey Daddy channel. I'm a content creator on that platform. And today we have another episode of a walkthrough Arkham City. And with me is Mr. FatNinja DM, whom is on his way to maybe being a Batman fan by the end of this series, where we play through Batman Arkham City and we walk through the game. We talk about it and talk about its impact in the gaming industry as a whole. All of this in anticipation for Gotham Knights, which is set to be released in 2021. Mr. FatNinja, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience. If they don't know who you are, let them know who you are.
What's going on, everybody? This is FatNinja DM, chilling like a fat supervillain. And my mission statement is this: don't be a prick. Help people out in the gaming community. You know, like my motto is social enlightenment through positive gaming. And through that, everybody will have a better gaming experience. I am a 23-year dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons and various other role-playing games. And I'm just a fellow nerd enjoying this travel with Gamey Daddy, going through the Batman game, trying to just give a different spin on how things are represented in the game and overall in the appearance of the game, the combat, and other various aspects of the game. Gamey Daddy, let's get this.
All right. As Matthew McConaughey will say in his language, all right. So we've been playing this game right now, and we've probably spanned a bunch of episodes. And Batman Arkham City is an iconic game. It's a game that really makes superhero games, beg for mercy. In fact, here in a bit, the Spider-Man game will be released, and what we're gonna see is that game, even its developers have said that they modeled that game because of Batman Arkham games, that the Arkham games were an inspiration for them, or somewhat of a standard. I think it was Brian Intihar, who is the creative director on the Marvel Spider-Man franchise. Now, Mr. FatNinja, as a Marvel guy, do you think that this game has that weight to influence one of the best Marvel games to have been released in this generation, which is Marvel Spider-Man? Do you think Arkham City is worth that compliment?
Oh yeah, but definitely, because like we said in a previous episode, I mean, all games that are in this vein of this game and the other Batman games, every game that comes after is going to borrow heavily, if not just outright just copy this game in its setup and its presentation, because this has set the bar and it's been set so high, anything less will just be crushed under the fickle heel of the gaming community. So they have to follow very closely this formula to even have a inkling of success moving forward. So they've been put on notice with this game. So everybody got to step it up or fall off into the abyss.
That makes a whole lot of sense. I guess, when you have a game that's that good, there are so many aspects to it. And, this particular aspect of the world design and the fact that Batman is up against everything remains a theme in this game. And, like you said, if you're going to make a superhero game, you got to work according to the pattern of what the Arkham games have done. And to be very frank, I'm a little concerned that because the new Spider-Man game is not a Peter Parker game. It's a Spider-Man Miles Morales game. He's supposedly like the Spider-Man on the side, if you get what I mean. So I don't know if we can actually... The writing will have to be knock your socks off writing to convince the audience that this Spider-Man is worth his salt. So I think there's a lot that the developers are going to have to do from a story writing perspective. Gameplay-wise, I don't think they have a problem. The Marvel Spider-Man game of 2018 is going to be similar to this one, with Miles Morales having his own different powers. But, I mean, how can they be as compelling, as the nature of the Arkham games when it comes to the story. The Arkham games are very compelling. Is Miles Morales going to be compelling enough? Is he going to have what it takes? Is he going to face struggles like Batman has to face? Is his rogue gallery going to be, relevant? I don't know. I'm still on the fence.
Well, with the Rogues Gallery, I mean, Miles does have a Rogues Gallery, but it's just borrowed from Spidey's Rogues Gallery. And
Hmm.
but they put it into a different context to where it's like, okay, Spider-Man's been fighting these villains for years. Now Miles has taken over the reins, so now he has to learn in his own way of how to fight these rogues, and how the interactions, especially in the comic books, they're always referring to Miles as the second right Spider-Man and stuff like that. And like what you were saying earlier, Miles did catch a lot of resistance and backlash when he was given the moniker of Spider-Man. But how they did it in the comics to kind of alleviate the concerns and anger of the community, it was Spider-Man gave the mantle willingly over to Miles, and
Mm.
that's what really set the tone for Miles to finally slide into the main arc of being the Spider-Man. And and of course they didn't take Peter totally out of the picture either. He's
Hmm.
still around to offer advice, so they did it very well on how they went along by doing that. So it's going to be just like with everything else. There's going to be some backlash and whatnot, but when it's all said and done, people will still um, appreciate, being able to, um, have that Spider-Man game, all albeit a little different. It's still going to be Spider-Man-ish, so to speak, because I guarantee in the game there's going to be references of either Spider-Man or his alter ego, of course, who is Peter Parker. It's You can't have Miles Morales by himself. There has to be nods back to Spider-Man or Peter Parker, because if you release the game all Miles Morales and don't encapsulate some of the aspects of the original Spidey or Peter Parker or some part of his universe, then that pushback will be greater. But I think that the story writers will very well know of this, so they're not going to be stupid and just say, okay, well, we're just going to just flat out say no Peter Parker, no regular Spider-Man. So I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to keep their wits about them, and I think they're going to release a pretty bang up product.
Huh. That's good. That's good. I mean, I don't doubt their quality as a development firm, as a development studio. They have proven themselves. That no doubt they've shown that yes, we can bring a solid superhero game to the market. We can make the superhero relatable. We can make the superhero vulnerable. We can make this, and when I say relatable, even though many people may say things about Bruce Wayne, oh, Bruce Wayne is this character that he's a billionaire. How can we, how can we relate to him? How can we see what he sees? How can we, how can we be able to match up with a hero like this? Is he even, is he even human? You know what I mean? And then when you think about it, when you put it all in context, it makes sense that Bruce Wayne is you know is this person that many people can relate to. Sure, he had an upbringing that's different from most, but it's not been the best of upbringings. In fact, it's a dark and dreary one, and Peter just has it almost worse in a sense. And so the relatability of both characters is there, and you have to showcase these two things, whether you're doing it in a video game or a movie or a cinematic or animation, context. You have to do it well. And like you said, because we relate to Peter Parker, it made sense where the writers were, the way they transferred the mantle of Spider-Man to Miles Morales was they put it in the hands of Peter Parker. It wasn't like, oh, he was walking down the road and tripped over and a spider bit him And now, oh, he's already doing his own thing, has a mask and has all those things to himself, and then runs into Peter Parker one day on the road. He's somebody who's actually, it depending on the context that you look at it, someone who's actually known to Peter Parker, somebody who's actually close to Peter Parker in a sense. And so there's a delight in having Miles take over the role of Spider-Man. I don't know. Am I seeing it differently, or is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Because if they were to just say, well, Peter was walking down the street, got hit by a car and died, and then this the spider that happened to bite Peter so many years ago just happened to mysteriously just appear out of nowhere and then bite Miles, that would have been a very fatal fatal circumstances that if they would have done that. So how they did it was perfect.
Hmm.
It's not like Peter just vanished off the face of the earth. He passed on that mantle and he did it willingly. It's not that he was too old or whatever. He did it willingly, and that's the key thing, because so many people get so angry when their favorite comic book character has to give up the mantle because something that was out of their hands occurred, like they died, like trying to burn the two brain cells that I got left. I believe it was when Nightwing had amnesia and he was called somebody else, and then he became Nightwing again, and then he ended up dying because he got pushed or punched or whatever, and he fell and broke his neck
Hmm.
on a rock. And it's like, what the f? Like, are you serious? That's how you took out Nightwing in the storyline. One
Hmm.
of the coolest characters of the Bat family got taken out because he broke his neck by being pushed and falling onto a freaking rock.
Okay.
So, yeah, a lot of people were pissed off about that.
Now, that's good. That's good that you said that. Because of the way it's difficult to let go, and people get upset because of different transitions. And the reason I actually started this conversation was because I wanted us to now hone in on what it's gonna feel like to have a Batman themed game without Batman at the center. And Gotham Knights is that game. Just like we had, with Miles Morales. Now, the game is going to be a Spider-Man themed game, but not Peter Parker. And so what we're having is actually this mantle passing on in Gotham Knights, and the developers basically making a very, very, in my opinion, a very bold move to say Batman in this context is dead. Does that make sense? Do you see how that can also rub the fans as well? Because it has already rubbed the fans. In fact, there are fans that are like, nah, man, Batman's not dead. Even when the developers started the preview with, oh, Batman is dead. And people still saying, no, Batman's not dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're living in denial. In fact, some people say, and if you even also listen to, oh, I got to put this out there. The first revealed trailer of Spider-Man Miles Morales is narrated by the voice of Peter Parker. The guy that does Peter Parker's voice, I think his name is, I can't remember his name, but he's the one who narrates, kind of the challenge of being Spider-Man in the beginning trailer, which is almost like a mirror of Bruce Wayne doing the beginning narrative and encouraging the Bat family to do well, kind of a call to arms and a call to action. So I think what
Right.
they're trying to do is they're trying to use the legacy character to kind of soothe us into these new characters, both in the case of Spider-Man Miles Morales and, more importantly, more relevant to us on this discussion, Gotham Knights. So I think you're onto something here where you said, that passing on of the mantle is a way to alleviate the fans, and I think they've just done it, and I didn't even realize until you said that. So that's quite interesting that you pointed that out. So another question that I have for you though, like, that I'll say, okay, is in terms of, this new movement, do you think there's like a push from the creatives, those are the people who do these story writings and stuff, or there's just kind of like a boredom to stick with the legacy characters that's making them, make these moves? or do you think it's just a natural progression for advancement and for a challenge when it comes to storytelling and all that stuff?
Yeah, yeah, of course it is. It's just a progression because everybody that puts their hands on something creatively always wants to put their own stamp on it. Like they always want to take something that's new, like old, excuse me, some old, and make it new again. I mean, that's the main reason why they had in Secret Empire Hydra Captain America. They wanted to do something new with his character because for years you've seen the same old Captain America, good old Boy Scout fighting the good fight,
Mm-hmm.
yada yada yada. And with Captain America, that's his status quo. But it gets old and stale after a while, so you need to refresh it with something. And how they set it up, oh, it was just a alternate timeline. It really didn't. So when they finally redid it, they erased that time of Secret Empire. It really didn't matter because like people at first, people hated it. Me personally, I loved it because it was something different. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Captain America fan. I love Cap, but it was really refreshing to see him shown in that totally different light. He wasn't mind controlled or anything like his self himself was rewritten
Mm.
in a way to where it was not mind control. In his mind and body, he was what he was. So I really appreciated that. So this is just a normal progression. We always want to have that new shiny, especially with gamers. We always want the new shiny. Like when we hear about a new game, like, well, let's take Cyberpunk for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to get on board. They want to get their hands on it, and then when they said that it wasn't going to be released until then, it got pushed back. Blah blah blah. People were like moaning and groaning and whatnot. It's just how gamers are, and that's fine.
Mm.
When the game comes out, people will appreciate that they took the extra time to polish it and make it a better game than what people are already saying that it's supposed to be already, even though people haven't even played it yet. But that's just how we are.
Mm.
And this case is no different with the new the Gotham game. So you got these team of people. They were led by Batman. He's supposedly dead, but now I think it's interesting and also refreshing because now we get to have a focus on something other than Batman. And of course, Batman will be referenced here and there. They'll talk about like, how he saved my life or what he did in this situation. But to be honest, gaming, I hope they don't focus too much on that. I want to see the characters themselves be able to grow and maybe expand outwards, like maybe making some new enemies and some new allies and stuff like that without having that crutch of the Batman. So that's what I'm hoping.
Hmm. Well, that's bold, man. That's, for both Spider-Man fans and Batman fans, that's a huge change.
Maybe Gamey Daddy stepped away for a moment. People in the comments, please let us know how the content is coming out to you. Let us know if you would like to maybe have a poll on what we talk about in next episodes. We do pre-record these episodes and everything, but we would still definitely love to hear feedback about this format that we're using. Me and Gamey, we both agree on this format. It's kind of free form. We don't stay on topic because we're nerds and our brains are going 15,000 directions at one time. But I really think that this is what it's all about, being able to just have a conversation, interact with the audience, and just make something unique, something fresh, something special instead of the tried and true. Okay, well, just put this up on Spotify and take the video out of it and stuff like that. We just really want to engage with the community because Gamey Daddy has built just a superior community full of knowledgeable and passionate people. So he just wants to continue to grow that brand and grow with that mindset of having a great community of people that are willing to help and also be very passionate about what they believe in the gaming universe.
Yeah, pretty cool. Thank you very much for that. My microphone was my comms was a little messed up, Mr. Fat Ninja. So you didn't hear me on that when I was saying that. I was like, oh, my comms. Uh, we're working through the technical difficulties of all of these, but we do appreciate you guys, hanging in with us. And yeah, as Mr. Fat Ninja said, just give some feedback. Let's hear what it is what topics you want us to talk about, and what you would like to see. So we're gonna wrap up this episode. Stay tuned. We're gonna be bringing a lot more, talking about Batman Arkham. We're gonna move through and talk about boss fights. We're gonna see what Arkham City was able to bring to the table regarding boss fights, and what it was able to bring to the table regarding enemy types, and how they kind of transitioned you from dealing with all the demons outside and the demons within. That's another thing that that makes Batman kind of special. But anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you all, like I said, once again, and hopefully we'll see you guys in another video. Mr. Fat Ninja, sign off.
All right, this is Fat Ninja DM, chilling like a fat supervillain, and when you least expected it, I just stole your critical hit and your sandwich.
All
Later, folks.
right, laters.